Back again today, continuing my journey through the decades. Today, the top 10 TV, fantasy, science fiction shows from the 1980s. Were you alive for that? Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son, that's not my son, get together and talk about fantasy, science fiction, and other nerdy things we enjoy. I'm Jim the father, and coming at you with another episode here talking about great television of the past. We're going to get a little nostalgic today talking about the 1980s. But I'm not at home, and I'm not in an Airbnb today. I'm at a friend's house. Hello, friend.
Hello, friend.
This is Eric. He's been on the show before. He's an established author, so I should say your last name, Eric Haan. You'll find it on books, and I've featured his books before, and I will feature them again. But I'm in his. What is this place, Eric?
This is my special domain office where I do all my creating, writing, creating the cover, audio recording. So you're in my world now.
All the magic
I
happens
don't have
right here.
No swords, no alligator heads, no Wheel of Time books.
Yeah, but come on. You have tarantulas.
Tarantulas.
Sheesh. Everybody's got something special in their creative magic place. So you have tarantulas. I have a dead alligator, but you have live tarantulas.
They're my Zen animal.
So as I've been working through the TV shows of the past, the great things starting in the 1950s, working up every decade, it's just been me talking about these for the first few episodes. But we're talking about the 80s today. You were alive in the 80s.
I was alive for the entire decade of the 80s.
Well, there we go. He's an expert right there. Just like when I do these with Zach, I'm going to give you my top 10. So this does not speak for Eric, but he will speak for Eric. He will tell us his thoughts as I work through the list. He may have never heard of them like you guys, and he'll have something he can go back and watch.
Might be a blank stare.
Yeah, it might be.
I got nothing.
And then again, I may just completely shock you with something I thought was way up on the list that you're like, no, Jim, that's trash. What are you thinking?
We'll find out.
We will find out. So we should get started with the list.
Let's do it.
So starting off, again, I cannot give you just 10. There's too many great shows.
There's always a honorable mention.
You know, not
That's what
always,
I love about you,
but
Jim.
Almost always. Yeah, I have to break my own
I'm
rules.
here for the honorable mentions.
Nice. So I have 2 honorable mentions here from the 80s.
Okay.
The first one, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
This didn't even make my list, but it would have been at the top.
It aired from 1983 to 1985. We're talking about the show that follows Prince Adam, who transforms into He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. And he works to protect the land of Eternia from the evil sorcerer
Skeletor.
Yes, and his minions. With the help of his allies, He-Man battles to safeguard the mystical secrets of Castle
Grayskull.
See, it's there. It's a favorite. And of course, uphold the peace of the realm. He-Man was not live action. This was a cartoon, which is why, honestly, it didn't make my top 10. But it was great. Very entertaining.
That's why it would have been on my top, because I was born in 1979. So what I watched in the 80s was mostly cartoons.
There it is. And
played with action figures.
And you probably had He-Man action figures?
We didn't have a lot of money, but we had He-Man.
See?
And then my mom sold them at a garage sale for, it's just sad. I can't even think about it these days.
Yeah. I had so many Star Wars action figures. And then my dad lost his job and we moved, and most of them did not.
They're gone.
It was sad.
Yep.
But I got to keep
Someone has them.
Yeah. All right. Second honorable mention, The Greatest American Hero, 1981 to 1983.
Nope.
Haven't heard of this one. Well, you were pretty young for that one. This show centers on Ralph Hinckley, a high school teacher who receives a super-powered suit from extraterrestrials, which he struggles to control. I mean, he's not a natural super-powered hero. It's the suit that has powers. With the help of his FBI agent friend, Bill Maxwell, Ralph learns to navigate his newfound abilities while facing various villains and personal challenges. all while humorously dealing with the complexities of being a superhero.
And in early 80s style, I would have liked to see that one.
It also gave us an earwig of a theme song. Believe it or not, I'm
What?
walking on
For that
air.
show?
That's it.
awesome.
That's it.
That's great.
So that right there gets it a spot. Honorable mention. It's, in the 80s. It's iconic, that song. Okay, but let's move to the actual list. And
Can it get better than He-Man?
it
I think we
can.
should just stop here.
Yeah, no, it's gonna. We're going here. Number 10 is Amazing Stories. 1985 to 1987. This was an anthology series created by Steven Spielberg. I mean, before he did most of his greatest movies.
Yep, it's familiar to me.
Yeah. It was a collection of fantastical and imaginative tales from across various genres. So you got science fiction, you got horror, you got fantasy. Every episode is a standalone story with unique characters and themes showcasing extraordinary situations that often blended the ordinary with the supernatural.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I know I've seen some. My memories are vague.
Okay. The thing with Amazing Stories is some of the episodes were just blow your mind awesome, and some of them were duds.
Some fell flat. Yeah.
It just happened.
Which actually makes it fun. That's like the X-Files.
Yeah.
Some of them were amazing.
Most of them were amazing.
Most of them were amazing. And then there was a couple like, huh? I shouldn't have said that. Maybe that's on your list.
We'll X-Files doesn't come out in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. That's a 90s. That's why I know it better. Maybe that'll be on Zach's list.
I would imagine X-Files will make an appearance.
Yeah.
But they have to come back to see for that.
Tomorrow.
Number 9, Tales from the Dark Side. 1983 to 1987. It's another anthology series.
The name is familiar, but I probably wasn't allowed to watch those.
Oh, probably not, because this was a horror anthology that presents chilling stories of the macabre and the supernatural, often with a twist ending. Everybody loves a twist ending. Each episode features a different narrative, again, standalone episodes ranging from eerie urban legends to terrifying encounters, all framed by the ominous tone of a host who introduces the tale.
Sounds very Stephen King-ish.
Yeah. With your Stephen King fandomishness, constant reader, you would probably enjoy Tales from the Dark Side. I was, at this point, 13 to 17.
Perfect.
So it was right in the sweet spot.
Perfect, yeah.
I can say I didn't watch every episode because back then, we didn't record things the same way.
You had to be there to watch
you had to be there live. So, but I caught a number of them and definitely enjoyed every one.
Excellent.
Number 8, Galactica, 1980.
I found this on my Google search when I was looking for 80s shows, and I have zero. I got nothing.
Well, Battlestar Galactica was on my 1970s list. Way up near the top.
Never seen it.
Oh, I mean, it's corny now, but at the time, it was great. Galactica 1980 is a follow-up. It's just a short, mini series.
Okay.
It's a sequel to the original Battlestar Galactica. Finally, we get a little bit more. Focuses on the continued efforts of the surviving human race to find Earth, while still facing the big bad Cylons coming out to try to wipe them out. The series does introduce some new characters, including a group of young fighters known as the Galactica 1980 team.
So cheesy.
It was very cheesy.
The Galactica 1980 team.
Yep.
It sounds very sci-fi.
Well, that's what it was. Yeah. It's not the greatest of shows, but it makes my list because it's a bridge from the original Battlestar Galactica to something more, and we wanted more. So if you liked the original Battlestar Galactica, then this was satisfying.
Okay.
Number 7, Alien Nation, 2-season run, 1989 to 1990. Have you heard of that one?
I don't think so. If I heard of it, I thought, is that a new Alien movie? Because I did see the Alien movies, although later, not when they came out.
Very different.
Okay.
It's a science fiction television series that explores the integration of extraterrestrial beings known as the newcomers into human society. They arrive at Earth as refugees, fleeing from elsewhere in space. And the show follows a human police detective, Matt Sykes, who gets partnered with one of these aliens. Great name, Sam Francisco.
I thought Matt Sykes couldn't be topped, but then there we
Sam
go.
Francisco. And they work together to solve crimes while addressing the social challenges and prejudices that arise from their coexistence. Humans and aliens, and humans can tend to be a little bigoted and
A
have
little
prejudices.
materialistic, maybe in the
Yeah,
1980s.
so it got to explore some of those themes while also being light and somewhat humorous at times.
I don't know if this would be a favorite one for me, but okay.
I was there for it when it was there, and it didn't last long enough. I was still enjoying the show, but yeah, not enough people were enjoying it. That's why it got canceled. Number 6, The Twilight Zone. Now, this is the reboot of The Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone's already been on 2 of my previous decade lists.
Yeah,
The
60s,
original with
right.
Rod Serling. This was the revival of that classic anthology series, presenting a collection of intriguing, suspenseful, and thought-provoking stories, often with supernatural or science fiction elements. Each episode features unique characters and plots. Again, they're all separate, no through point, but they're exploring the human condition, moral dilemmas, and the bizarre, frequently culminating in unexpected twists that challenge the viewer's perceptions of reality.
So this one, I couldn't tell you for sure if I've seen it because my dad liked the old Twilight Zone,
Mhm.
and we watch reruns all the time. So I can't differentiate. I can't tell you if I've seen 80s ones or more like 60s ones. I know Rod Serling, I remember him, but I don't know if I saw the later ones or if it was all the old stuff. I don't know. What was the Creature on the Wing, an old one or
That's
a
a new
one?
one, but that's actually from the movie that they
Yeah,
did
that's a mini
spun
part of
off
the
from
movie.
this TV series.
Yeah.
Or maybe the movie came first and then they did it. But that's the theme, the type. That's what it was.
That one episode was like terrifying and
Yep.
and formed part of my identity. So I like that. What is that a William Shatner thing too, or what was there an old? Or is
I
it
don't
just
remember
someone?
Shatner being on it.
Maybe I'm remembering Jim Carrey making fun of it. There's someone on the wing, something.
It could be that could be. Yeah, Shatner isn't very good at making fun of himself.
No,
but he's easy to make fun of.
My memories are muddled, but I remember the Creature on the Wing tearing the plane apart.
Absolutely, yeah. There's definitely some differences from the classic Twilight Zone to the newer one in the 80s. One of the things that sticks out for me is in the original, Rod Serling would be at times right on the screen talking to you, and sometimes he was smoking. Right on and of course that's not happening in the 80s anymore. There might be characters smoking, but you're not going to have a narrator smoking as he talks to you. That was just.
And then was the 60s stuff, it was a lot more like in your mind and like suggestions of things rather than, and the 80s seem more like practical effects and gore and like
they could do more with that now. Yeah, they could. But the basic premise of the episodes still shared a lot with the older style, messing with your mind.
Twilight Zone holds up. Good call. All the Twilight Zones, I think.
Awesome. All right, number 5, Knight Rider, 1982 to 1986.
With a car.
Yeah, this follows Michael Knight, a former police officer who's given a second chance at fighting crime with the help of a high-tech, artificially intelligent AI car named Kit. Together, they tackle various criminal activities and injustices using Kit's advanced capabilities and Michael's resourcefulness to protect the innocent and bring those wrongdoers to justice. I loved this show as a kid.
I did too. I remember the little LED lights for the voice when that car was talking to him.
Yes.
That's about all I remember. I don't remember specific
This was all through high school for me.
Okay.
So that's where I was at that point.
Yeah, I would have been a little kid and just thinking like, whoa, it's cool that a car can talk and do that kind of stuff.
But he could do so much.
That's about all I remember, that the car was really cool.
Yeah. There's not a lot of science fiction to the show. It's kind of a procedural cop drama almost, but you got this car.
It's like Transformers before Transformers, kind of.
And the car also, I mean, it had a snarky sense of humor.
It had a personality.
Yes. So Knight Rider. And then, of course, the actor who plays Michael Knight goes off and becomes a huge pop star in Europe after that. We never see, well, he did Baywatch. after Knight Rider.
Is that the man? The man with the plan? What's his name? I can't
It's
think of his name.
completely escaping. I'll put it
David
on the David
something.
Hasselhoff.
David
That's it. That
Hasselhoff.
was him. First it was Knight Rider, then it was Baywatch, then it was Rock God in Europe.
Yes, where he still is, I believe.
I believe so. He's a big name over in Germany.
Yeah,
Loves
yeah.
him.
The Germans love Hasselhoff. Hasselhoff.
The Hoff. Yes, but Knight Rider, man, that was good fun. All right, number 4, V, the miniseries.
Never heard of it. I found this on my
Oh.
search too, and I was like,
I
nothing.
was so there for V. It was a miniseries, 1984 to 1985, so it kind of bridged over that holiday span. Like it did part of it, and then there was a gap, and then it came back to finish.
Okay.
It depicts an alien race known as the Visitors. So that's where the big V.
Very creative.
They arrive on Earth with seemingly benevolent intentions. We're here to help you. They secretly plan to eat humanity.
Oh,
Okay, you're a food source.
okay.
They look human, but it's fake skin over. They're really more of a reptilian race, quite
Ah.
carnivorous.
Or Stephen King like.
Yeah. A resistance movement forms to combat the Visitors because the Visitors are using all this deceptive propaganda and oppressive tactics. They're very fascist, actually, once they kind of move in and take charge. First,
Okay.
by here to help you, then they get kind of in power and they use muscle to keep people oppressed.
Sounds very Cold War-ish.
Yeah. And so V then becomes also the symbol that the resistance would paint on walls and slap over posters. And very much borrowing from some World War II themes.
I know why I didn't see this one, because I was 5. I was 5 going on 6. Not really up for that kind of material yet.
I guess it was mostly action, sci-fi, but there were little pieces of humor too. Something I remember particularly enjoying about it was seeing there's one character. Okay, spoilers for V if you haven't seen this. There's one character who is one of the Visitors, but ends up siding with the rebellion.
Well.
And he's played by Robert Englund, who also plays Freddy Krueger.
Yep.
And I already knew about Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm like, that's Freddy. That's Freddy. Oh, and I like him in this role. It was very cool. He's a charming, lovely guy.
That's a good twist.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. Notes here.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Quantum Leap. Tell me you've seen Quantum Leap.
Yes.
Yes.
That's one of the ones on my
and it's
my
one of
mom
the later
was in
ones.
love with that guy.
It just slips in at 1989.
Yep.
It continues on till 1993. Following Dr. Sam Beckett, a physicist who invents a time travel experiment that goes wrong, causing him to leap into the bodies of individuals at different points in history.
All across time.
So he has a chance to correct historical mistakes before then jumping to another person. He's always hoping to finally jump back home, but instead, as soon as he solved the problem, poof, he goes to a new problem to solve. He has a holographic friend with him, Al, who is a real guy back in the timeline, but can't do anything other than give him information, but we get to see him.
Yep.
Al was funny.
He was. I don't know that guy's name in real life.
Oh, he's done a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But hilarious. I don't remember his name at the moment either. Maybe again I'll slap that across the screen now. The ticker. And the guy who played Sam Beckett went on to play the captain. Scott Bakula went on to play the captain of Enterprise, the flashback Star Trek one,
which I did not watch.
Oh,
I was not a Trekkie.
But the last thing he did that was really big was NCIS New Orleans.
Okay.
And Judy and I are big into the police. Yeah. So we watched all of those.
I know what those are, and I've seen tiny snippets, but I don't watch the NCIS.
Very different performances in each of the roles that I've known him for.
I mean, he's the guy that made that show.
Oh yeah,
totally. There was good humor and good action. Just a good actor.
Yeah.
My mom was in love with Scott Bakula.
A lot of people were. I was not.
Well, that's good.
Just for the record, last decade
you were in it for the action,
things like Wonder Woman. There's the stuff I could perhaps be interested in, but no. Okay, number 2. We're almost there now. Number 2, Alf.
Yes.
Not to be taken seriously, but man, 1986 to 1990. This was a sitcom. It centered around Gordon Shumway. What a name he comes up with. An extraterrestrial life form from the planet
I don't remember
Yeah, it's a
that.
deep pull. Melmac.
Melmac.
Yes.
Okay, now that I hear it.
He
Yep.
crash lands on Earth and is taken in by the Tanner family. And then hilarity ensues as Alf. Now, Alf, he's an elf. What was that for?
Alien life form.
Yeah, that's all. He's known for his love of eating cats.
Cats, yeah.
That was a running gag throughout it. And his quirky personality. And he struggles to adapt to human life while hiding from government authorities who would want to capture him. He was done with a puppet. Everything else was live action.
Yeah.
But they brought this puppet to life. Alf had
he had a great
character, personality. And I mean, it was a very successful show, very big in the Nielsen ratings of the day.
Okay.
So
And
you agree, you enjoyed Alf.
I loved Alf. He had other quirks too. Didn't he really like peanut butter or something? And then his crashed spaceship was made of gold or some precious metal. I remember that.
I don't remember, really.
That saved the family at some time when they were in a financial crisis. And he's like, let's take some junk out of my ship. And
I like it.
It was gold or something. That was a regular show for us.
Nice. My whole family
back in the days
of
being at a certain place at a certain time to watch your show. Alf was one of those shows.
Yep. Now, I say my whole family watched it, but I wasn't with my family at that point. These were college years now. So I was watching Alf in college. Just like I was watching this next show when I was in college. Number 1, Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Oh,
there's no way that was not number 1.
I will totally give that to you. I'm not a Star Trek person. I have seen some of them and appreciated them as standalone episodes. I feel like I saw one Star Trek where they gave current people the formula for like clear aluminum or something.
That's in the movies.
Is that a movie?
With the original series cast.
Okay.
Yes.
See,
yes.
I shouldn't even try to talk Star Trek because there's like 15 different Star Treks.
Now, let me be true to form and give the explanation in this episode, even though all of you watching know about this show.
Sorry, people. It's more of a fantasy.
It takes place approximately 100 years after the events of the Star Trek original series.
Okay. This
follows the crew of the starship USS Enterprise D, where that was the USS Enterprise. Okay, so
was there a B?
There was an A, B, and C. Okay. Absolutely. Well, but we're up to D now, top of the line.
Very logical.
Indeed. Live long and prosper. This was led by Captain Jean-Luc Picard as they explore the galaxy and uphold the principles of the United Federation of Planets. It's set in the 24th century, so it's way out there. The series delves into moral dilemmas, diverse alien cultures, and it showcases the crew's adventures while promoting themes of exploration, diplomacy, and cooperation. And it ended strongly because after 7 seasons, then it launched into movies, feature films, and did great there too. And then there's been spin-offs like just last year, or was it earlier this year? Picard finished, where Jean-Luc Picard has another show just featuring him as a very old man now, and it was still brilliantly successful.
Is it the same actor?
Yeah.
Professor X.
Yep, he's done a few things along the way now. But yeah, it had such an impact on what came out on TV afterwards. Mm-hmm. Plus, it totally revitalized Star Trek. And we have had so much Star Trek since then because The Next Generation was brilliant. The original series only made it 3 seasons. And the 3rd season, there are a lot of duds on that one because their funding was so cut. They did an episode called Spock's Brain. That is one of the worst episodes of any science fiction on television. I'm putting that there. You can come at me with your hate, but you know I'm right.
It's hard to explore new worlds with a limited budget.
Seriously. But now, Next Generation, the first season had a decent budget. After that, the budget got bigger because it hit a chord and everybody was there for it. So
yeah, a deserving top.
That's it. That's my top 10. That's my number 1. Now, what did you enjoy in the 80s that didn't get any love from me?
Let's see what I found that you didn't know about. I have at least one other cartoon.
Okay.
Transformers.
Oh, yeah. Transformers was one I looked at and I went, yeah. A lot of people really like Transformers, but it was never my thing.
Yeah. The edge goes to He-Man, of course, but that was the other toy that was big when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah.
all had Transformers or wanted them if we didn't have enough money to get one.
I would agree it would be the second best cartoon
Yeah.
of these genres of the time.
And I would say possibly the best theme song. It still lives in my brain.
Okay. Okay.
With the, Transformers, more than meets the eye. Very 80s amazing machine.
And people love the 80s. So, I mean, we've got all these Transformers movies now that are really well done special effects wise.
Yep.
Not well done plot wise.
Nope.
Nobody cares about the plot. They just want to see Transformers because they saw them as a kid and they want this.
And I'll tell you something that makes me feel like I'm getting too old for Transformers, or just the movies aren't good.
Yeah.
After the first of the newer movies, I can't tell who's fighting who. That everything's like just flipping around so quick. I'm like, who are the bad guys? Who are the good guys?
The first of the newer movies wasn't bad.
It was good.
After that, though, then they're all cash grabs.
Yeah, exactly. So Transformers, a little show called Small Wonder. Do you remember that? It was another sitcom.
Okay.
I neglected to find the years, but it's another sitcom with a family who one member of their family was a robot who looked just like a little girl. And she did all kinds of crazy robot things.
In my research of the 80s, I did see that show, but I didn't know anything about it. And
that's
it wasn't high enough rated for me to really research it, so I didn't.
Yeah, it's something I remember watching. I don't know that I'd be like, yeah, they should. Small Wonder, it should be revived. No, definitely not. It belongs, but it's very 80s, like the costuming. I mean, yeah, there were some laughs.
There's certainly a style of dress that when you see it on the screen, you go 80s. Yeah.
Similar vein to Alf, only instead of Alf the alien, it was a girl that did funny things because she was an alien.
A robot.
Yeah.
Oh, she was an alien or a robot?
Sorry, robot.
Okay.
She was a robot.
She was a robot.
Maybe another AI.
I
hate AI.
You, as an author, hate AI?
Yes, in terms of creativity. I mean, there's a place for it, I guess. I also had Twilight Zone and Alf, which we covered.
Yep.
And Quantum Leap.
Okay.
Those are all of the ones that I found that I remembered actually seeing.
Yeah.
So you hit 3 of my 5.
Nice. 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how about you guys? What do you think of this list? Are there ones on here that it really brings back memories and you want to share them with us? That's what the comment box is for. Put it down there. If there are shows that were favorites of yours that I totally missed, I mean, I know there's one really big one that a lot of people loved that I just skipped because I never heard of it when it was on. And
now
I don't think I would have wanted to watch it. I can't even remember the name now because I blocked it, but it featured a girl who is actually an alien. She finds out, and her family, it's a sitcom still kind of thing, but she has special powers because she's an alien. I think it might have been called Out of This World.
Yeah,
but I'd never watched it, never heard of it.
Fuzziness. Someone's gonna comment like,
did you watch that show? And Jim, it was the best show. Yeah. So comments, let us know what you think. Also, while you're considering comments, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you hit that notification bell over there, then as more decades are coming out and other great things Zach and I put out, you'll have notice and won't miss a thing. Eric, thanks for jumping on today.
Thank you for coming to my house to do this.
You can find Eric on a couple other episodes here on the channel. You got to go back. I don't know if it's searchable. His name might be there. Hit Eric Haan, see what pops up. But he's never been like side by side here. So this was cool.
This was cool.
Yeah, appreciate it. And shameless plug for his books, Jake the Dragon Talker,
Xandra the Shadow Girl.
And coming soon, is the title out there in the wild yet?
It is, as of this week. Owen and Emelina.
It's
book
awesome. 3. Totally incredible. By far the best book. Doesn't make any sense if you haven't read the first 2. So get those books. They're written for middle grade students, but I'm telling you, adults can find stuff to enjoy too, and will catch things that the kids won't.
Especially if you like Stephen King.
Oh, yeah, totally. All right. Thanks for being with us today. As always, it's been wild. Thank you, Eric. And for the rest of you, we'll talk to you next time.